Hello, gentle viewers. This is Ev Guardian welcoming you back to a very interesting episode of Victoria 3. In our previous episode, we continued to work on the economy for a bit, and we tried to pass a republic, and we got it, and then there was a revolution that broke out despite the fact we hadn't reached 100 extremism. This is not ideal. Um, to be perfectly honest with you, this could be real rough. However, oh, you need a job, do you? Let's make sure that you defend there. If we lose the capital, we're done. But my hope is that we have sufficient. I thought I activated all my conscripts. Maybe I did that later. Oh no, I did activate all the conscripts. We're just waiting for them to fully mobilize. I don't know how big their army can be. Our fleet was divided in half, and the only country I could win is freaking Sulu. We're gonna see what happens. If they try to add war goals, it's gonna be really interesting. That could result in some issues for them. I wish. Do we have? We don't have troops for second front. I don't think. But the good news is we can kind of cut them in half and spread out. Especially because I'm mobilizing conscripts now. I'm not waiting on that. We're gonna hemorrhage money for a while, but I've got 18 million pounds in the bank. I feel okay with that. So let's go ahead and unpause the game, but we're gonna go a lot slower than usual. Because I want to be ready if things go wrong. I mean, they're already about as wrong as they could go. Do you fuckers have more battalions than me? Yeah, I really can't do anything to win anybody over. I would if I could. But, like, I'm not offering an obligation. They really don't want to do it. France should love me. And even France is like, oh, hell no. So we might actually lose this. Might actually end up ending the series. We'll see what happens, though. Once the war starts, anything could happen. But yeah, they have more troops than we do somehow. Why does the conscripts activate 8? Yeah, I need to activate every troop I possibly can because, or we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Hey, Revolutionary Japan, get fucked. Why do I have to embargo you? Like, no, dude. I'm not gonna let you get my freaking coal. What? Yeah, guys, I don't know what happened other than the revolution happening in most of the population centers. I could switch sides, but to be honest, I don't really want to. I don't want to play with a monarchist power because I just don't find that interesting. I mean, they've got twice the troops that we do. The only thing I might have is who has the arms industry? Oh. I make the bullets and they make the guns. Oh dear. I'm gonna need to import some small arms, or this is gonna be real bad real fast. So first we need to import artillery. Yes, French, give it to me. Small arms. Yes, French, all of them. And ammunition, too. Give me some bullets, France. Like, I still have input goods shortages. I can't really do anything about this. I think we just kind of lose. And I'm a little salty about that because I was gonna wait it out, and then it just randomly said, oh, by the way, tee-hee-hee. Fuck you. And literally nobody will join me. If one great power would support me, we would win this easily. But it's not happening. Which is a real bummer. Man, I genuinely thought that we had a chance to possibly win this war, but no. Where are they getting all these people from? How do you have 217 battalions to my 83? I have the fucking capital. Is it just because I have so many people spread out? Maybe. Could I get Germany? Nope, you're all gonna tell me to go fuck myself. I think you're all recognizing that I'm pretty much boned. Like, I guess there could be something that we could do, maybe? Please? Oh, I need to go to buildings, development. Oh yeah, it's as good as it gets, okay. Yeah, I don't have a chance, I don't think. Unless we get really, really lucky. And they spend so much time trying to take the outskirts that I'm able to drive through the center. But yeah, I think we're done. I genuinely don't think we have any chance to win. Because nobody would support me. They all decided that the country that had enriched them so much had decided, nope. I could not care less about the industrialists. Like, I don't even really care because I don't see winning this war. I truly don't. I'm a little bit grumpy about that, but we can at least explore how we did, and go from there. Yeah, this is bullshit. At the last possible moment, the landowners and the petty bourgeoisie all joined in their stupid revolution. I know I could just switch sides, but I don't want to. I don't want to play a monarchist Japan. If I want to play a monarchist Japan, I'll just play Hearts of Iron 4. Yeah, the best I can do is just defend and try to wait them out economically. Yeah, this is truly bizarre. It's whatever, though. So here's the battle. As you would expect, it's very even, but I have a distinctive advantage that I have really good defense. I'm not saying that means I'm going to win, but I can at least wear them down. If we can consistently win battles and just wait, we have a chance to pull out a victory here because I have so much money in the bank, and I know that they don't because they're a new nation, that I have a chance to just wait them out. I mean, we're doing serious damage to them. They're losing people at a pretty hefty clip. If we look at make peace, my war support is dropping pretty drastically, but that will change. I mean, amazing. Disease among the wounded. Yeah, we need help if we're gonna win this war. We're gonna have a chance to win the war, right? Like, I don't even want to go on the offensive. Or maybe I do. Maybe I do. Gosh, I really don't want to do this, but maybe I have to go on the offensive. Maybe not yet, though. Maybe not yet. Yeah, see, they can just casually have 94 battalions just ripping through the southern part of Japan. I'm going to try shifting to advancing the front and see if we can make any progress at all on this. No, it's the exact reverse situation then. This was a mistake. I knew my defense was great, so their defense is also going to be great. Oh, but I'm winning somehow. How am I winning? So I have... Is it my commander? Maybe. It also might be the fact I've got more regulars and they have more conscripts, but if I can start winning battles, that's gonna very significantly change the complexion of this war. Especially if I can... I mean, they already fucking hate me. It's not like they're gonna hate me less. Really, Germany? Really? You guys are fucking assholes. Taking on the debt of revolutionary Japan just for the lulz? Like, I guess I get it. You want to back the winner, but holy shit. Wow, France got beat. Maybe you should have not been jerks and helped me out. Okay, this battle isn't ending. I'd like it to end, please. Oh, I am losing. That's the problem. I am this guy. I think we're screwed. I don't think we can win this war. Which is a shame, because I was actually enjoying this particular game, but... I just don't get it, guys. I don't get why it went from 95 to 100 without warning me that it was going up to 100. It's not supposed to trigger revolution until it hits 100, and the fact that it just jumped... I mean, maybe I should have abandoned it earlier, but to be honest, I'm pretty frustrated by the political system that decides that one party can hold the entire fucking country hostage. The Buddhists should have just shut up. They should have accepted where we were and been happy about it. But yeah, we're doomed. We can't win this because they're hemorrhaging. We're hemorrhaging war support. And we don't have supplies. Because they got all the arms factories. Um, like, genuinely, I really enjoy Victoria 3. And I think it's got a huge amount of potential. Um, but I do think Warfare does need to be upgraded, and I don't think anyone would disagree with that. I think pretty much every single critique of this game almost always begins with the fact that the warfare is not the best. Um, but stuff like this, where one party can just mobilize, and I've got a lot of radicals, and I probably need to spend a lot more time on the economy than I did. I felt I was doing too much, to be honest with you. But I probably need to spend a lot more time getting people off of subsistence farms, because that's why we have so many radicals. Now, if I look at it now, it's going to say that most of them, yeah, it's based on standard of living and then a grumpy political movement. But, man, I know, get good, and if I play this game again, and I will, I'll probably make different choices, but, man. Maybe I just need to figure out which levers to pull to get, first of all, to get more loyalists, but second of all, to get the fucking religious faction to just cool it. To let me have a republic. But, like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be forced to capitulate because I literally have to. And I can't even stop advancing. This is fucking stupid. I should be able to say, I don't want to advance anymore. But it's like, no, you're in a battle. Okay, fine. Then just change it when you're done. This isn't hard. But, yeah, it's like, we don't have a chance. We're done. I'm just going to go ahead and capitulate because I can't win. Yeah. Look, we had a really impressive country up until the very end of it. And I think we did a lot of really good work to make it formidable. I could switch countries. As I give my thoughts about the game, I'll continue as an observer for right now. And we can see what's happening there. I mean, all the colors are gone, which is kind of weird. Okay, this is not terribly helpful. But, so okay, what do I enjoy about Victoria 3? What do I think makes the game interesting? Well, there's a couple of really big changes to this game that I think have it stand head and shoulders above Vicky 2. And the first of those changes is the economy. In Victoria 2, if you are a fan of it or played it, you know that a lot of times you don't have any control over the economy. Unless you have a command economy or you have a very particular type of economy. Here you always feel like you're in command. Pardon the pun a little bit. You always feel like your choices matter. And that is something that Vicky 2, past a certain point, stopped having. It got to the point where the economy ran because you'd already set it up, and you couldn't really do anything to affect it for good or ill. as much as what just happened in this game, right? Like we just literally saw me lose a civil war and get fucked by um, the unholy trinity. Um, the fact of the matter is that rebels are a lot easier to deal with in this game. In base Victoria 3, can I just close this to actually see what's going on? Oh, there we go. Okay. In base Vicky 2, one of the biggest problems was rebel whack-a-mole. You would get to a point where you just spawn rebels over and over and over and over with nothing to do about it. And at least in this game, there's something I could have done about it. Which I think is probably why I'm so salty, because it is, genuinely speaking, my fault. I could have simply ended my demands and everything would have gone back to normal. Having said that, Victoria 3's military system is really not the best. I know where they were going with it, and I love the idea because I didn't enjoy managing hundreds of thousands of troops to do individual conquests. I think there's a lot of promise, but I do think it's very difficult for to manage large countries. That's why I wouldn't play a country like Russia in Vicky 3 at the current build, because I would just find it too frustrating. I don't love the weirdness with revolutions. Revolutions can only impose 3 specific things. So if I look at Japan and we look at their politics, you'll notice that they restored the monarchy and they ended. I think that's it. I think it's the only thing they did. Because I don't see. Oh, they went back to religious schools, of course. Fucking whiny ass country. And they went to mass conscription instead of professional army, which is super weird. But so that's how they work right now. They only trigger 3 laws whenever there's a revolution. So you'll see really weird North Americas where there are 4 countries in the United States, none of which have banned slavery, because other things are more important to them, like economic laws or the status of women or whatever. And while that could have happened in real life, it doesn't feel great from a game perspective, and I do think it's unrealistic for North American history. I don't see any way, barring like nuclear catastrophe, that America gets out of the 19th century without ending slavery. I genuinely don't see that, especially not by the time this game started in 1836. I think it was inevitable that slavery was going to end, barring a massive Confederate victory that got recognized by, say, Britain and France, which never happened, and I don't think ever was going to happen. And indeed, there's even historical evidence that says that Britain and France had basically told the Confederacy, no uncertain terms, if you continue trying to make slavery a thing, then we'll never support you. Suck on that. They didn't say that last part. They probably wanted to, though. So that's kind of how things worked out in real life, and I think it's how it should work out in the game. This really weird half the United States, most of which wasn't even slave states, joining the Confederacy is just bizarre. Like, truly, it's bizarre. And I'm hoping that future iterations work on that. I think pops are a lot cleaner now, which is very good. And pops still remain somewhat interesting, but it's not something you have to pay as much attention to. One of the most annoying things to worry about in Vicky 2 was promotions and how to get your pops to do what you wanted them to do. Whether you wanted farmers to become workers, or you wanted workers to become officers, or what have you. And that was really frustrating. Because if you didn't know about all of these buried modifiers, you would never be able to achieve things like literacy. Knowing that maximum education budget wasn't always the best decision. In fact, sometimes you want to be a little bit less than maximum because of the way the modifiers worked was really kind of weird. I also think it's much easier to understand why you're making a profit and why you're not making a profit in this game. Again, Vicky 2 buried that stuff in a lot of menus. In Vicky 3, I can pick a random country. I can look at their economy. You know what? I need to look at a particular state. That's what I need to do. So zoom to Orleans. Buildings. So right now I can see chemical plants, right? Why are the chemical plants not making money? It's because the price of sulfur is really high for France. And in addition, they're not using the fertilizer explosives that they're making. This is a terrible combination. As you can see here, the business is starting to go bankrupt. In other words, this is a perfect storm of failure. Now, the good news is it's got reasonably good throughput. But they're not hiring people, and they're not hiring because they're not making money. And they're not making money because they're not able to actually sell their fertilizer or use their explosives. Are they subsidizing? No, they're not subsidizing. So this will continue to be an issue. And here we go. France has done something to change things. Let's pause the game. Yeah, they really brought down the price of sulfur, which helped them make a profit. And then it fails again because they're not making money. That's the problem. They need to fix the demand, not the supply. They need to start building things that need explosives, expanding their fertilizer production, something. And so this is something I can see at a glance. I'm not going in 20 to 30 different menus. I'm not trying to puzzle out what the numbers mean. I can instantly tell what's going on and how to fix it. Production methods are brilliant. I love this so much. The idea that you can change that your business operates to become more efficient or earn more money or use less labor is just brilliant. I love it. And it makes the game that much more interesting. It's not just, do I build machine parts or do I build cement? It's, how do I get the most out of my chemical plants in this particular example? Or finding something that's really profitable, like their glassworks. Yeah, the French are buying porcelain and glass hand over fist. They may not be good for the people of France. People of France might be really bummed out. If we look at their population here, and let's just pick a pop. Here we go. These laborers are impoverished. And let's find out why. Why is your standard of living so low? Here's one that's impoverished. What's the deal, yo? So here's France's problem. 20% of their budget is just going to clothing. That's both a massive opportunity to earn some real profit, but it's also a clear indication of what the issue is. And so now with this information, which I did have to dig a little bit for, I know how I can structure my economy to make my people happier. And I didn't do this enough when I was playing Japan. This is another reason we got so many rebels, and it ended the way that it did. So if Paradox would fix warfare a little bit, and I do not want control over divisions or even brigades. At most, I want corps level control. And I don't even think I want that. I want, if we're going to go Hoi 4, let's go Hoi 4. And let me draw my front the way I want it drawn. That would be fine. I'd be happy about that. Even the system we have now could work fine, but let's watch this revolt here in Austria. And see that there's 4 different fronts. Why are there 4 different fronts? Because of this tiny itty-bitty sliver here. Whatever is going on here. Austria is boned, by the way. They've got a liberal revolt, which, you know, good for them. Holy free holies, Batman. 400 plus divisions versus 79. That's not going to go well for proper Austria. But generally speaking, the game is prettier. The map is better. I can easily spot things. It's really cool to watch cities develop. If we zoom in on Paris here, you'll notice, look how fancy it looks. Look at that. We got a train leaving. We've got nice looking buildings. Now compare this with a country that's, say, less developed. Like, let's take a look at, say... Look at this sad little village in the middle of the Congo. That's kind of depressing, isn't it? But that is what we have. And that's so cool. So cool. I love everything about that, and I think it's a real benefit, a real asset to this game. Diplomacy... I like diplomatic plays a lot. I think they captured what was great about Vicky 2's great power system, and I think that is something that you can really enjoy and find interesting. That said, I don't like how static it feels. Diplomacy rarely changes in this game in a meaningful way outside of player interaction, but it's like you can play the game 100 times and you'll see the diplomatic aspects of the game end up very similar. And in the early game, that's reasonable, right? That is completely reasonable for the game to work that way. Because, oh yeah, I think Austria actually capitulated. If we look here, it's still a monarchy. I don't know what actually changed here. That was weird. It's possible somebody intervened on Austria's behalf, or that by liberal revolt it just means a particular liberal chancellor is what they wanted. I mean, no, the army's in control. I don't know what happened there. What did they want? Like, it was a liberal revolution, and clearly the liberals won because they had a much bigger army, but I don't know what it was that they achieved. Anyway. So yeah, diplomatic plays are cool, and it's neat the idea of being able to bring somebody in on your side, but they're too unpredictable, especially as a player. Whether a country is going to honor its obligations or not. We saw that happen in this game, where France just basically screwed me by abandoning me earlier on in the game. Then again, France did buy my debt, so we wouldn't have succeeded without France, so give and take, right? But if you want a player to be able to work within the system needs to make a little bit more sense. You need to get an idea of why somebody wouldn't support you in diplomatic play, because then you won't start the play to begin with. But that being said, Europe rarely changes much other than revolutions. Italy usually forms, Germany usually forms, but you don't see real craziness unless players get involved. I mean, an independent Bavaria in 1899 is pretty wild. But anyway, so that's the end of this series. I kind of had a feeling when I started this series today, when I started the episode, that I'm like, this is gonna go badly. I should have just accepted where it happened, and that's what I'm going to do. So. I apologize if you were hoping for a more exciting conclusion, but we have to deal with what we have to deal with. I'm going to take Wednesday off for a week, but probably the next thing that you'll see on a Wednesday is going to be my Let's Look at Marvel's Midnight Suns, which is, and I said this on Twitter, but it's my game of the year for 2022. Even though I finished it in early 2023, Victoria 3 is super close, but it came into the year a little bit too late for me to really get a chance to sit with it, play with it, learn more about it, and then come to the decision that it's a better game than Marvel's Midnight Suns. But that'll be probably not next week, but the following week. I will have a video about that. I'll show you guys a couple of missions and talk about how the game works. I'm not going to do a full playthrough of Marvel's Midnight Suns because A, it's a long-ass game, and B, I think the story is really engaging, and I'd rather people experience that for themselves. And although the game will change each time you play it, the story really won't. I also don't want to spoil any of like the surprise cast members, so I'm going to focus on the party members you can only get at the beginning of the game or very early on. So hopefully it won't spoil things. You can decide for yourself if you want to buy a copy of Marvel's Midnight Suns yourself. But friends, despite this rather ignominious end, I did enjoy Victoria 3, and there will be more Vicky 3 on the channel for sure. I think at a bare minimum we need to wait for 1.2 to come out. 1.2 is supposed to make further changes to politics that I think are most welcome. And help with some of the late game economic bugs. There was an economic bug for a while. They've already patched it, but as an example, countries could trade the exact same good infinitely and generate infinite money on tariffs, even though nothing is actually changing hands. So what would happen is, say, Austria would open up a trade route with Germany for coal, and then Germany would open up a trade route with Austria for coal. But they wouldn't be using their own coal, they'd be using the coal that was already traded. So basically sending a semi-truck in circles over and over and over and over again with the same piece of coal on it, and everyone makes money off of it except for the poor truck driver who's probably like, no, please, I beg you. Or earlier on in the game, a boat or horse and cart or however you want to call it. So anyway, that's it for Victoria 3 for a while. After Marvel's Midnight Suns, I don't know what I'm going to do, actually. RimWorld has an expansion that came out, but I want to play that, I think, before I put it on the channel. Monster Train is always a possibility. I did very much enjoy Monster Train. That might be a fun game to play on the channel for a bit. I don't know. Share your thoughts in the comments. But until next time, this has been AppGuardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.